Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Pop Sub Club. I am here with a very special guest, Miss Anastasia Elfman, who is part of, if not, no, is the main person in a little horror film called Bloody Bridget. And she's done a lot more than that. And she's tied to a pretty awesome family, as the last name might suggest. But, enough talking. Anastasia, how are you doing today?
Oh, hi, I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to have you here. I'm so excited. Like I like to do these stream of conscious, so it's like I'm always trying to think of like, all right, what's the next thing to say? Like, what do I do now? But honestly, I'm just so happy that you're here and I'm doing great because like we get to talk about horror and it's, in my head it's the Halloween season already. So I'm like ready to get going with it. But why don't we tell the audience who you are, basically your story and how you got from where you started to Bloody Bridget.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a big one. Well, first of all, can I just say like a super thanks to our mutual friend, Melissa
Yes.
Hannon, over at Horror Geek Life. I have
Yes.
dyslexia, so I always mix those up. But she is so kind to connect us and has been so
Yeah.
supportive to me and my husband and all of the projects that we do, different collaborators and stuff. And she's always writing these like super heartfelt,
Yep.
wonderful articles just to like connect us and shine like a spotlight on our little tiny indie project. So I just wanted to say a huge thanks to her and a thanks to you for having me on.
Yeah,
So
for sure. No, Melissa is the best. I mean, when I first met her, I was in Dallas and she picked me up. She didn't have to pick me up. And we spent the afternoon hanging out and like we went to a horror coffee shop and we were just talking and it's just like fast friends. Like I'm so happy that she was kind enough to even let this happen. I'm gonna kick myself in the head for even having forgotten to mention it, but that's how I get sometimes and craziness. But I really am so thankful for her and I'm gonna be blowing her phone up as well because this is so fun and she's the best. You're right. Horror Geek Life,
yeah.
everyone. Check it out. It's a fun website. If you love horror, if you like deep dives, anything like that, that's the place to go.
Yeah, she's the best. Okay, so me, I don't know. I mean, I guess starting at the beginning, I grew up in the theater. I'm classically trained in ballet since age 3. I played cello. Been performing my entire life.
Hmm.
Um, so always been interested in that, and that's just kind of been the choice for me. Then later on, I got into doing like practical effects makeup and costume design, set design, all of that kind of stuff. And then that kind of just led me more into doing acting. I mean, I went to school for acting. I went to Stella Adler. It's a big like conservatory out here in Hollywood,
Hmm.
and it's like one of the main methods. And so, just juggling all of that, I've always been interested in the creative aspect, like behind the scenes and being crew, and then also telling different stories. And I also love live performance.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so my whole life has just been creative and playing pretend, I guess.
Well, I think that's awesome. And I love that you mentioned, especially that you're classically trained in ballet and cello and VFX, because those are all like I grew up when I was in school, I was playing the saxophone and ballet is just, it's such an impressive, art form and it's such a physically demanding thing to do. What was that experience like for you growing up?
Um, just being a ballerina, doing that,
Yeah.
great. I don't know. I feel like I was put in, okay, so a little history about me. Both of my parents were like career military Marines and came from a strong military family previously. So like their
Mhm.
parents were also in the military. So I come from a lot of discipline and everything. So
Yeah.
ballet kind of just it's one of the most disciplined performances that you can do, and they're athletes. And so that just kind of rolled into what I wanted to do. Like I fell in love with point shoes and ballerinas and everything like that. But I've done many other, like I've done Irish dancing, jazz. I've tried tap, not very good at those. But so I dabble with other things. But I was also doing like gymnastics, ice skating. I played every single kind of sport, even underwater hockey I was
Oh,
doing.
wow.
So I'm super competitive. I'm an older sister as well. So I have a little sister that would
Mhm.
kind of come and follow me around and have to do everything that I wanted to do, basically. So she has all that same experience too. But yeah, just ballet, it's just like regiment, a lot of injuries, but having to smile through performing with broken toes, which
Yeah.
helped me, do what I do now. Like I do a lot of like independent horror films, and that's working fast and quick and not always being comfortable, not always getting rehearsals with your like scene partners and stuff. And so it's like making it work, and that's kind of the mentality that I have. I like creating out of problems, like creating out of a box that I'm put in. So
Yeah.
that kind of helps me with my day-to-day life too.
That's awesome. Isn't it interesting how discipline can always kind of be even at the time, if it seems hard, it always ends up being such an invaluable tool, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was also in, I mean, I've done so many things, it sounds like I'm making it up. But I was also in a couple of youth groups called the Young Marines. So that was almost like a ROTC program, but for
Oh,
like,
okay.
it was all year long. On the weekends, I would go to different military bases. I would do all kinds of like crazy, dangerous training, like rappelling off of like cliffs that probably wasn't very safe, and just doing fire watch, so like being up all night,
Yep.
just all kinds of wacky stuff. I was also in Sea Scouts, which is like a division of the Boy Scouts, but girls can be in it. So
Okay.
like I know a lot about taking care of boats, even though I'm not really like a sun person or an ocean person, but just in case, if I'm ever stranded, I'll know how to like figure out how to like steer a ship.
There you go. That's awesome. That's funny that you mentioned ROTC. I actually did ROTC in high school. Ours was Air Force ROTC, and we did rappelling. I remember for one summer, like a week-long summer thing, and I'll never forget. We went up to the top of like this 80-foot some odd tower, and I'm about to rappel. I don't like heights, by the way, but I was like at that age where I'm like, I mean, everyone doing it. I should see if I can do it, because I mean, I'm sure there's people scared as me. And then I like tripped, and I like was holding on, and my foot was like kind of on the ledge, but my other foot was hanging off. And then it's the best when the person who is the professional is looking at you, and you can see in his face like, this is dodgy. And I'm just like, okay, just don't look down. I'm not 80 feet up in the air. And Firewatch was another thing I had to do. I'll never forget that when they didn't really tell us how we should check to make sure the person that is knocking on the door. And then you see the person, and you're like, oh, I know who that is. And you don't remember, because you're, young, that it's all like a training thing. And yeah, that was fun. I got everyone woken up, and we did push-ups at like 2 in the morning. So
No, it's like I feel like I've done so much that it feels like different lifetimes. And
mhm.
sometimes like something will happen and it'll like jog a memory, not like PTSD or anything like that, but like I feel like there's so many memories in my head that I've just like put away because it's too much. And then like when I talk to people who have also done like relatively the same thing, I'm like, oh yeah, remember this, remember that. It was terrible. And like as a mother, like I have a 17-year-old,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't even consider putting her through like more than half of the stuff that I went through,
Oh, I can
like
imagine. Yeah.
because like with I feel like with the young marine thing, it was like for troubled kids kind of to like
Mm.
keep them in line, but I had no problems. I'm just this like film nerd, and ballerina and gymnast, and it was kind of like my parents wanted to like, I guess, like make me tougher or
Yeah.
something, and like speak up for myself, which just helped. So now I know how to command a room if I need to, or
Yeah.
like if I'm ever in a movie where I have to play a military person, I can like march us around or fold the flags, like, all of
Yeah.
this like useless information I know.
All that super specific stuff, keeping your bearing, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, or like I went through FEMA training, like I'm
Oh
certified,
man.
all of this, like first aid, all the kind of like basic, like CPR, all of this kind of
Yeah.
random stuff. When we had the fires here earlier this year, because I'm in Hollywood,
Hmm.
and so we had fires really close, I was like, all of my training started kicking up, and I'm like, I can't leave. I have to like protect the neighborhood. And my husband's like, no, 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 no. You're just like this little blonde girl. Like come, like we have to leave.
You're like, I got this. I'm prepared. Trust me.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, but it's funny too, all of like you said, different lives. So it's like you have all that discipline, all that training, but then also you're interested in VFX and costuming. I'm a huge fan of VFX. There's actually the reason the show got started was because I had talked to a VFX artist that I still talk to for multiple episodes on my show. And we're like, we get along and we always talk about creature features and classic Universal monsters and all of that. So I have a sweet spot for all of that. And costume design is so impressive to me. I found myself over the years getting more interested in like how the costume tells a story just as much as the script. What is it about those aspects that appeal to you, and what have you done with it, in your career in movies and TV?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I love VFX. I don't do VFX, but I'm very into practical effects.
Hmm.
We have a lot of very talented VFX artists, like friends, who help us on our projects, which is great because I'm like not very tech savvy. I'm more like a practical
Yeah,
learner,
yeah, yeah.
and like sculpting and painting and running like molds, that kind of stuff I like
Yeah.
doing, and sewing, all of that, like tactical hands-on things. That's what I'm kind of good at, I guess. How has it helped me? Well, I have this like very niche, I don't want to say talent, but maybe I like to create these wild, kind of like bloody burlesque pre-shows that I like to do in front. It opens up screening events, and so
Hmm.
I do every aspect. Like I'm producing, I'm dealing with they're usually multimedia, so I have my whole team of editors and stuff that we create these wonderful multimedia like videos that play behind me. Like I do this for when we tour with Bloody Bridget or with my husband's film Forbidden Zone. I create like these crazy performances, and then I've done this for the Horowski family. I with Morbrito Film Fest, they flew me down to Mexico City, and so
Hmm.
I got to do this wonderful performance for their I think it was their 30th or 35th anniversary of Santa Sangre. So I
Hmm.
got to perform as like Mother and Alma, the two characters, and did like a bloody burlesque where I like cut my arms off, and I don't know if you're familiar with the film, but it's like this wild surreal film, and there's
Yeah.
like they created like this huge elephant casket behind me to perform, and ballerina, so I did it on point shoes.
Hmm.
So I've done that, and then I work a lot with our friend Brian Usna, who
Yeah.
like Reanimator
Oh yeah.
and Return of the Living Dead 3. He recently had a screening a couple months ago here in LA, and so I got to kill him. So he kind of like introduced the film, and then I came out as the lead character. Julie, and so I disemboweled him, and then I ended up kind of taking off his his skull and eating his brains. And so to go back to your question, yeah, all of my like practical effects rigging, because I do it all practical, and so like I tape him up into like bags, and I have intestines underneath his shirt, not to give too much away, but like, and then it's like kind of a sleight of hand. I feel like a magician through this stuff because I have to do it in
Yeah.
front of everyone who's in the theater. So like, I'll hide places either on myself or on the victim. And so different riggings I'll put on like his brain piece. Like I did a fake hair piece that had like gooey stuff. And so it
Oh,
was
that's cool.
really gross and bloody. And then I threw it into the audience, and it probably hit somebody in the face on accident. But I love like doing immersive performances,
Yeah.
like I love like William Castle and his like kind of like campy hijinks in the theater. And
Hmm.
I'm a huge Lon Chaney Sr. fan. He's actually my idol. We share a birthday. We have like a lot
Yeah.
of similarities naturally. And so I like bringing the like dark performance art into the like cinematic theater experience,
That's
because
awesome.
you kind of have to like do something different nowadays because people can just screen films, and it's like, why come to, I mean, for me, like the movie theater, that's like my religion, that's my church. So I
Yeah.
love going, but not everybody was raised like that with like a honoring cinema in that way. And
Mhm.
so, or even going to the theater and having proper theater etiquette. And so I feel like this is like one of my like little niche things is like I like to make it a huge event and then like other horror fans and monster kids can like get a kick out of like, I'm literally like killing Brian Usenet right in front of you,
Yeah.
And I've done this for like we had a Bloody Bridget screening for like the cast and crew in LA, and so I got to kill Brian, and that time I ripped his heart out because that's kind of like along the lines of my
Yeah.
character Bloody Bridget. She rips out bad guys or ladies' hearts and eats
Yeah.
them right in front of them while they're like dying.
Which is just, I mean, to skip ahead for a moment, that does call back to when I was in high school and I used to, whenever there'd be like, not a real fight, but if like you're watching TV with your friends and there's a fight, I'd be the one in the back screaming, Rip Out is still beating heart. So the fact that that kind of, was this through line of the whole film, I was happy with that. I'm like, yes, let's do it. Um, but man, there was so much impact. I love that answer that you gave though, because there's so much to think about, like in terms of VFX. When I say VFX, I guess I mean practical effects because I forget that like VFX can also mean CG. So that's kind of like the confusion in my head. But as far as what you said, I'm on the same boat with you with practical effects. And I think that what you do on stage, there's a testament to that because you kind of have to, like you said, plan everything out. You're doing it live, and that can be so much harder than, okay, we didn't get that cut. Let's wash up, clean up, do it again. Doing it live is impressive, and especially leaving an impression that's fun, like, eating someone's brains and throwing it to the audience. That's radical. But then you
Thank
mentioned Lon
you.
Chaney Sr. And
Mhm.
I am a die-hard Universal Monster fan. Like it could be argued, and I always say this, as much as I love superheroes, the monsters have always been like right there. Like it's hard to say which came first. I would just say film as a whole. And Lon Chaney Sr. is someone who, man of a thousand faces, is so impressive. And I recently finally got to watch Phantom of the Opera and Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I love those performances that he did in those. I think that they are like he does such a good villain with Eric, but then as Quasimodo, there's such tragedy, and both are silent. I love that that's the one that you love specifically. I love that you share a birthday because I don't think we would have practical effects and horror without what he offered.
No, he completely created that job. I feel like, I mean, eventually, I feel like somebody like this would have happened, but he really started that. I mean, it's kind of like mind-boggling because not only was he this incredible actor, just so nuanced and deep and able to
Hmm.
do comedy and tragedy and most of the time with any like quote unquote villains he plays, you're feeling bad for him and you
Yeah.
want him to like usually win or survive. I mean, for me, I don't consider Eric the bad guy. I
Mhm.
consider the female lead, what's her name, Christine. I hate
Christine.
her.
Oh yeah.
She's the worst. I hate her so much. But I love Eric. And if I was Christine, like if some guy in the freaking opera house's basement wanted to like murder off people for me so I could star in the opera and is
That's
writing
true.
these beautiful plays or operas for me. I think I could not two time on him. You know what I
You're
mean?
like,
It's
well,
like
when you put it that way.
I hate her. But yes, so anyways, I'm always rooting for Eric.
Yeah.
And for Lon, I mean, he's I don't know, what can I say? It's just mind-boggling how talented he is because um it's not just the acting, it's his talent in creating. Like he literally went to set in his phantom makeup and was suffering. He suffered for his art. He was suffering all day long in his scenes. What we're just talking about phantom kind of right now, but like he basically directed because he was at odds with the director of Phantom. And so he directed his own scenes and was very did all of these moody lights and moody angles because he came from the stage, so he understood how to incorporate like dramatic lighting. Um, but it was so wild. I mean, we
Mhm.
could talk forever on
I
Lawn
believe you
and
me, I would love
Phantom.
to. I gotta say, it's funny that I actually didn't know he directed all of his own scenes for that movie. And the last thing I have to touch on for that is that I have a horror store that's literally like 5 minutes from where I live. And every now
Oh,
and then I'm like, let me go and treat myself, and I'll drop more than I probably should on stuff. And last time I went, I actually saw that they had, because I collect like the NECA like monsters and slashers.
wow.
and they
Mm-hmm.
had Mask of the Red Death, Eric. And I
Oh,
love
wow.
that suit because that shot where he's watching Christine from the gargoyle and the way that it's like angled and the way the wind is blowing,
Oh,
like for me, I was like, this is one of the coolest shots I've ever seen ever. And I had to get that one to because I have like bookends that are like werewolf statues. And I actually
nice.
took him and put him on the top of the werewolf because I wanted my best to like kind of homage that. I absolutely like he had such an eye for like the camera and how make things look so intense.
Well, that's just a testament to his like talent. I mean,
Hmm.
I kind of believe in those like that saying of like 10,000 hours to be a master of whatever it is that you want to do. And
Yeah.
he got that because like he started out, like both of his parents were deaf mutes. And so he didn't learn how to talk until he was 4. And he
Hmm.
would mime, he would learn pantomiming and, get stories from town and bring them to his like, sick mother who was like stuck in bed and they were
Yeah.
very close and so he would perform for her and then later on he would travel kind of on the vaudeville circuit and he was a comedian and a choreographer and so you can just see all of that talent. I mean, any any scene, even if it's not a close up, it's like I can tell, like like in Phantom when he's throwing those threatening letters, and it's
Yeah.
like you can see his like performance, like his dancers aim. With the
Hmm.
hand, it's all calculated. And then, like when he's running across that scaffolding, or that like weird
Yeah.
bridge up in the air, he does
Hmm.
like this perfect turn and he's spotting while he's doing as a dancer, like you can see that training and I could just go on and on.
You see, we should just let's just have a whole Lon Chaney episode. We're gonna redo it.
Right, yes, perfect.
That'll be
I
the
mean, that's
best.
part of my thing is like I love mentioning these classic films because a lot of people, it's kind of like they are aware of the old our like famous monsters, like our universal
Yeah,
ones. But not every most people haven't sat down and actually watched or know anything about the history, you
absolutely.
know. And so that's kind of part of my like I like to talk about them and make it so that people want to learn more and make it like not cool and fun, but kind of because it already is. I think
Yeah.
those are like the best films and they still hold up. I mean, I'm going through a thing with our daughter because she's going to school to be an animator and a filmmaker.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, yeah. And so I want to give her like this solid film history, like appreciation.
Yeah.
And oh, hi. Sorry, my husband.
No problem.
And so we're kind of rewatching all of the like classic horror films. So she's aware and she knows like when people are talking about like the Wolfman or the creature from the Black Lagoon or
My
Bride of
two favorites.
Frankenstein, then she can talk about it and have an opinion and also so it leaves an impression on her own art, because it's like
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm such a sentimental, like I don't want to see those art forms disappear, you
I
know?
agree. I 100% agree. I especially because I love that you mentioned Creature and Wolfman. I actually like I've written multiple pieces for my job on those movies, and I always like looking at the Wolfman as like an examination on the 5 stages of grief. But instead of dying, you're turning into a werewolf. And then I also love the Creature movies because when you look at that trilogy, it's not only like sends a strong environmental message, but it just shows the tragedy of the Gill Man and how at the end of everything he has no home anywhere, and we took that from him. And I think that those types of things are so important in movies and TV today because yeah, you can look at them as like precursors to the 50s atomic age monster movies or gothic horror literature brought to life, but in reality, they really set the framework for how horror isn't about fear so much as it's about making the drama relatable and then pushing
Hmm.
it to a point that you wouldn't want to go to. And I just think that those movies as a whole are just so, so, so important. Like, I genuinely believe I wouldn't love anything I loved if it wasn't for those monster movies because they wouldn't exist.
Completely. I feel like those classic creature films and monster films, it's like they've helped create who I am today. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like I wouldn't be the actor or the creative I am without being exposed to them. And that's kind of one of those things that I want other people to be aware of and also fall in love with, you
Hmm.
know, because they're
It's
so
true.
important to like our horror history. And I feel like as a horror fan, not only do you need to know what's going on right now, but you also need to give respect to the creators that came before
Yep.
and, you know, keep their flame going because it's because of them, like Lon Chaney Sr. or, you know, James Whale or somebody, you know, that's why we have horror today and
Absolutely.
inspiring the new versions of horror, which a lot of times are just in a way callbacks to the originals.
Always. Yep. I 100% agree. And the more well-read people get on those classics, the more it informs the new ones. And you can see the pulls and you can see whether or not they're genuine homages or just like solid rip-offs no one realized. And those, I think that's so, so important. Which kind of actually brings us to Bloody Bridget because in many ways, your character kind of shares a space with the bride as being like this tent pole of an idea of like feminism and empowerment. And, you know, unfortunately, while the bride didn't get as much screen time as I feel she deserved, she made such an impact and sent such a message in being designed by man for someone else and saying, I don't belong to you without literally saying a word. And I think that's the perfect segue to Bloody Bridget because the movie is kind of saying the same thing, like I don't belong to you. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, wow. I love hearing that. I've done so many interviews and talks about Bloody Bridget, but I don't think anybody has brought that aspect up. That was actually one of my secret, I don't want to say secret weapons, but kind of. I thought
Nailed
about the
it.
bride, and I'm glad that that kind of came across in a way. Um, you know, I completely agree with that. It's you know, Bridget's being told that she's this, you know, a long lost wife, and she's like, actually, hang on there. I've got
Hmm.
some work to do. You know, we'll figure this out later.
Yeah. No, it's really cool because yeah, it's the movie, it's in the title. It's a bloody movie. There's a lot going on, but it's those ideas that make it kind of stand out to where I could see it standing the test of time as a character that people will look back on and be like, "Hey, did you know about this character?" "Oh, no, I didn't." And then that kind of keeps the spirit alive and makes it fun. And also the tone is very like it's very punk in many ways. Like I'm a fan of Evil Dead and I'm a huge fan of the Cramps, and I got that vibe from the movie through and through, which made me happy because it's like my secret corner of like spookydom that I love, where things are just like outrageous for the fun of it. And it was such a cool time. Like, what was it like being able to rip someone's heart out? Because there was so much blood, and every time it just seemed like everyone was having a blast.
Well, yeah, I mean, my husband Rick, he creates such a fun and joyful set to be on, and he pulls these wonderful talented friends, and so everybody on set wants to be there and wants
Mhm.
they're a fan of his and they just want to be involved, and so it just creates this wonderful fun playfulness. And
Yeah.
so I mean, like I said when we were talking beforehand, you know, it was a self-financed film, so we were like, you know, indie, and it was like me and my husband, me and Rick. And so I'm kind of like trying to watch the clock and everything. And because, you know, like we don't have a lot of time in these specific places,
Yeah.
but luckily I had such great scene partners and effects artists and costumers. It was seamless. It was so easy. I mean, well, it was easy in a way, but I was kind of in every scene. So think of like during the day, I'm doing a tragic scene like with an evil boyfriend, and then I'm getting assaulted in the jail cell, and then you know I'm in the club later on. So I'm like back to back all of these
Yeah.
different like emotions that I'm trying to convey. So it was a lot. I mean, I like to joke that I don't think that I sat down during film during the shoot unless I was like getting my makeup done or like
Mhm.
putting a wig on or like you know effects makeup or something. because it was a lot, but
Yeah.
super fun. And we did all the kills in one day. So we were on a green screen. Yeah, it was nuts. But I love it sounds goofy, but I love being like a creature or a demon or a monster. Like because I'm a dancer, I'm very physical and I like emoting and I like pantomime. And so I loved playing Demon Bridget. That was probably my favorite aspect of
Yeah.
doing because like I play I have a dual performance and I wanted to make them so separate. I wanted to make well, almost three because we have like kind of meek Bridget O'Brien, and then we have like kick-ass Bridget after
Mhm.
she turns into a vampire, and then we've got demon Bridget who's
Yeah.
like, watch out, she's got demon nipples, she's got fangs, she's got these talons, like nobody's safe around her.
Yeah.
But on set during the kill day, back to back to back kills. And luckily the like evil villains, they were like the nicest guys and ladies. But it was tough. It was wonderful, but it was tough because it was like they would tape me with gorilla tape and big tubes on
Hmm.
my arms that I would have to like
Oh,
shield from the camera. And our effects crew, Soda Effects, was Roy Kinnearum leading, and Kenneth Calhoun, and Jacob Barber. Jake Barber. So they made these latex, I guess, chest for the victims, because I rip open,
yeah.
but we only had one. So I had to get it right every time. So that's like six times I would have to get it right. So it was so
Wow.
much pressure. And then they were hard to get through because it was like thick latex. And I had like for the ladies or people who get their nails done, I had acrylic nails, like shorter ones for normal Bloody Bridget, and then these long press-on ones. And so I was ripping them off, and it was so brutally painful.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No, I mean, it's fun to play pretend, and like it's my favorite thing on earth, but like
Yeah.
inside and between the takes, because it's not just doing it one time, it's getting it from different angles
Yeah.
and making sure that you have the coverage and every aspect. So it's doing one kill, but that could take like 4 or 5 hours for one person. And
Oh,
then in
really?
between, like the first time they let me take a shower, but I was like, this is taking too long because I get nervous. I don't like crew waiting for me. I just, when
Yeah.
everybody's ready to go, I want to go because I'm a team player, like
Hmm.
no diva at all.
For sure.
I'm on total like mommy mode. I just want to take care of everybody on set. But so the first time I got to take a quick shower, and then the rest of the time I was like, there's no time for this. Let's just get a bucket. And so literally they were just wiping me down because I had to start fresh. So we
Oh,
had
yeah.
different wigs, and but the rest was normal, but they had to like wash the blood off of me so that I would start fresh on the next person. So it was like a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of steps, but it's cool because usually when you get in, not only do you get like the first outing for a horror movie that's super bloody, but also for an indie horror movie, it's easy for people not to expect that many kills because of the fact that it would not only cost so much, but it would just be so much. But it's so cool that you guys managed to knock out like so many kills. That was one of the things that kind of blew me away was I'm just like, oh, she's okay, she's killing again. That's cool. That's cool. That's pretty awesome. Like you guys really got your time and your money's worth with that. And I think that that's really cool that you knocked out in a day.
Yeah, well, it was funny because my husband Rick and we have another film that's like kind of like a sci-fi horror comedy called Aliens, Clowns, and Geeks, and so
Hmm.
I played like six different separate roles in that film. And people, like fans, were saying not enough blood, not enough blood. And so with Bloody Bridget, I'm like, okay, watch out, because like I'm super into practical effects,
Hmm.
horror genre, all of that stuff. And so I was like, okay, let's give them what they want. And so it was like an excessive amount of blood, but it was great because like they would it was literally like this huge, almost like fire extinguisher, but it was full of fake blood, and they would charge it up. And so, like, when it was time for the chest to burst, it would it was so scary because like it was like a jolt when the blood would come out through these like thick, huge tubes, and I would have to be aware of the camera to like hide it because it was like
Yeah.
under on my palm. And then also while being aware of the camera, I would try to protect the actor that I was with that it was like killing because a lot of the times the blood would try to splurt like up their nose and I felt
Hmm.
so bad, because
Yeah.
like I'm trying to act and like, pull my shoulders back because, like I'm kind of topless and so I'm just trying to look good while like
Well, that's a lot
ripping
to keep
somebody's
track
heart
of
out.
all at once.
It's so much. And then like people are giving me notes on set, like, oh, like roll your hips a little bit more. I'm like, oh God, thank you.
Thank goodness there's some help with that too, because
Right? Because I
that's
want to
so.
look cute. There's nothing hiding me on that one. So I was like, let's make sure mommy looks cute. Because I'm worried about, like my fangs falling out into the chest cavity or
Oh man,
something.
that would be. Oh
Because that was
man.
another problem because like we had three different sets of fangs. We had like her normal day-to-day fangs that I felt gave me kind of a lisp that maybe made the character more endearing. I don't know, but it was so hard because I have like a weird in my family I have like small jaws and so I have a weird like where my jaw closes different and so
Mhm.
the fangs were so painful, the little ones to have on all day because I couldn't close my mouth all the way. So I was
Mm,
like constantly open and it was just too complicated to take them out all the time between scenes. So I just left them in. And then we had like the medium fangs when Bloody Bridget's just about to bite somebody, and then the mega fangs when she's going in and eating the heart. But they were
yeah.
so painful because um the heart, I was told, well, in the beginning, Rick threatened that it needed to be a real like animal heart. And I'm a vegetarian because I grew up very strict vegan and then
Hmm.
kind of rebelled and started incorporating like dairies and stuff. So I just never developed a taste for meat, but like our daughter
Gotcha.
eats meat. So as long as it's ethically done, I don't have like a major problem with it, even though I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
our daughter loves animals, so I'm like, I don't know, don't tell her too much.
Fair enough.
But so he was kind of tormenting me with that, and I'm like, I'm a trooper, I'll do whatever. But then we were talking to the effects crew, and they're like, oh yeah, we can just make this out of Jello, and it'll be fine. I'm like, oh okay, so that'll be fine. And then we get to set, and it's like this foam latex heart, like a big one, and it's solid, and there's no way I can like bite into it. And so they had to like score it on set. And so I ended up having all of this like micro foam and latex
Oh
in my
wow.
gums. And like where in some scenes, like I can see it, but hopefully nobody else. But like while I'm eating the heart and like some of the scenes, it looks like I'm about to throw up because I had to like run off the set and like try to get myself together and then run back.
Oh man. See,
But
that's what
get the shot, right? That's what's important.
that's the lawn training way. You said it yourself. Sometimes people gotta suffer for the art, but you know what?
That's right.
It
Yeah,
did
I
pay
really
off.
suffered for it during this one, but I'm glad that I did it. And this is my favorite stuff. So,
Yeah,
being a
it's
creature and being covered in blood is my favorite. It's not
is
always fun, but it is my favorite thing to
oh
do.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like all of our favorite things in life, there's gonna be elements where we're like, oh, there's that one part, but because it's our favorite, it doesn't really matter that much. Um,
Right?
is there any creature in maybe moviedom or literature or anything that you haven't been able to play that you would love to try out?
Oh man. Okay, so I get really jealous when there's a wonderful like a creature or a demon in a movie. Like I love the Conjuring series and I love the first Bathsheba.
Yeah.
I and we're friends with the composer who played Bathsheba. And so I always tease
Really?
him and I'm like I'm so jealous that you got to play that character because I would love to play a demon or a ghost character in like in one of those. I mean, unfortunately, The Conjuring's kind of over, but if
Such a bummer.
if they wanted to expand it or if they had a reason for having me on, I would say yes. And then I also was really moved by my other friend Matthew's work in Barbarian. He played Mother, who was
Oh,
yeah, he's like
okay.
this huge, really tall guy.
Yeah.
He's so talented. And so I always, kind of tease him a little bit like I'm so jealous that you got to play that part because that's like another part that I would have loved to play.
That's
But
awesome.
I mean, I don't know. I'm so competitive, just like that's just like the big sister energy that I have in
Hmm.
a kind way. Like I'm not competing with other actors or anything, because I
Yeah,
feel like there's so much and I would rather support other creators and people. And if I'm not right for the part, I probably know somebody who is, and I can acknowledge that, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
But I don't know. I want to play everything. I want to be every bad guy. I love a twist villain because a lot of
Mhm.
times in movies that I'm cast in, I'm just like, oh, this like, meek, shy, blonde, and then all of a sudden I'm the killer or something, So I love having that because I feel like those are the fun parts. And that's why I do a lot of genre because I'm not seeing I don't want to just play somebody's like wife or girlfriend or daughter or like
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I want to have a kick-ass like in genre, that's where they're writing the really great roles for women. And
Hmm.
that's what I want to do. I want to leave my mark and I want to leave something, that will inspire other creators and other, like women to just kick ass. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
absolutely.
I
No.
have a daughter too, so like I want to inspire her. She doesn't watch,
Right.
she doesn't care. She's like very jaded because it's just mom. But
That's
I'm
funny.
like, one day you'll appreciate this and like all of the cool creators, like when we take her to set or if we go and visit like my brother-in-law Danny, if he's scoring a film
Hmm.
or like he's doing a concert or something, she's like, because it's just like her uncle.
Yeah,
But I'm like, this is history. You are living in history. You are so lucky to experience all of this.
that's
Because,
great.
like I grew up, yes, in the industry, but I didn't have any like connections. I had to like fight and struggle and network and show my talent. Like I didn't get anything handed to me.
Hmm.
Everything that I had to like literally fight for, you
Yeah.
know?
Definitely, I can understand that. I mean, it's in my field, it's the exact same way. I can understand every facet of what you said because I understand what it's like to be humble enough to know, like, I might not fit, but I know someone who is. But then also knowing that for every success that you are proud of for someone, you also are like waiting for your shot. You're like, I can do this too. Just like put me in, coach. And
Yeah, I get
that's the
so
hard part.
inspired. I get so inspired going to the movies and seeing this. Like literally, like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll start tearing up because I'm just so excited or like I want to go create and I'm like, "Hey friends, let's just get together and let's just create something."
Hmm.
Cuz like I'm just on fire to do something goofy.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then also it's like I feel like so at our place, like me and my husband, we like to host dinners and we like to connect people. And so that's part
Oh,
of the
that's
thing
great.
too. It's like we'll have directors' dinners or like I'll have a birthday party, but I'll invite all of like our like mutual friends and leaders in like the genre film. And then I'll like perform with like my creative partner, Morgan Sorn or something to help lift him up and expose him to all of these different creators. Cause it's
Yeah,
like, it's kind of like if one of us makes it, then we all make it. And it's
absolutely.
like, I want to see more genre. I want to see more horror. And I hate hearing like sometimes, okay, because we're friends with like a lot of horror icons, but they get a little grumpy
Hmm.
and they talk about like, oh yeah, like horror doesn't do well in the summer or blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, if I had a horror movie, a new one every month, every week, I would go out and support it. And that's how like a majority of the horror fans are. I feel like we want it all year long. Like you were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about in the beginning, oh, I'm excited that it's like, Halloween season. And I was thinking, I was like, it's Halloween season every single day in my house, you know?
That's between you and me. That's usually how it is in my office when I'm working. Like my cool down hanging out for the day while I'm working is seeing what the latest thing on Shutter is. So it's nice
Right?
that I can finally like when it's Halloween because I am the only one that's this into it in my like circle of everyone.
Oh
So
man.
for me, I kind of like hang out. And don't get me wrong, my fiance loves horror as well. But I know when I love things, I go way in there. So
Yeah.
I am just kind of hanging out. And so for me, I'm always sitting in my room watching the random horror movie numbers 87,000. And so when it's Halloween time, I'm like, finally, I can come out of the office and like be annoying and everyone won't think I'm crazy because it's July or it's March. So, no, I do get what you mean though. I agree. In my mind, it is Halloween all year. I just wish that like I could decorate my apartment to look like it all year long.
Man, you can. We have like a we have Halloween decorations like hidden because we have like our house is like this 100-year-old kind of like chateau under the Hollywood sign.
Nice.
And there's like all of this like horror, like horrific kind of ivy that's growing on the our house. And so like sometimes like Halloween decorations go missing. And so I noticed the other day, I was like, oh, there's a big spider that's stuck because we just had it trimmed, our ivy trimmed.
Yeah.
And they kind of trimmed it a little bit too much. So now it looks like the Addams Family house or something. It looks very like, because it's just like all of these like thick, our ivy is so weird. It's not like nice and dainty. It's like
Hmm.
this weird, like, I don't know, viney. It's
Like
thick.
poison
And some
ivy,
of
kind of like Batman
kind of
poison ivy.
yeah, yeah, that's what it feels like. And I forget it grows fruits, but I never get to get it because like we have like these naughty squirrels that live,
They can
and
tell you
they're
all about it.
I know, right? And the same, we have like an avocado tree. I've never gotten to try an avocado because every single avocado that gets even close to ripe has a huge bite out of
Oh
it.
man, that's lame.
I
That's
know, but
so
that's okay. I
lame.
like animals, so let them have it.
Yeah. If they're happy, that's all that matters. I'm the same way. I'll see that we'll and like right outside of our apartment, we got little rats that run around or like little cats.
Oh
Yeah, and thankfully I'm on the second floor, so if there is a rat problem, I've been here like a year and some change. I don't know about it. But if I see one run
no.
by, I'm like, that's not a squirrel. But
That's
they're
Templeton.
yeah, but they're tiny, they're cute. I have no problems with it. But I did want to say though, when you were mentioning your dinners, I could bless you guys for doing stuff like that. As somebody who always has ideas and always tries to write things here and there, that's the type of stuff that I find is what I've always been like wanting as a creative mind is an outlet. And I love that you guys offer that to so many people. I think that that is something that I can't share it enough to the audience, or that is such an important thing you guys are doing because Hollywood can have a knack of getting stuck with what works and then they never want to take a risk. And so I love that you guys have a community that you're able to, boost everyone up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing I felt that even in genre, like the horror community, I felt that it like very like kind of closed off and like kind of not boys club, but there's cliques.
Hmm.
And which I don't understand because I feel like we're all like these like loser freaks. Like I've always felt like an outcast because I have
Yeah, yeah.
dyslexia. So that's, I mean, if I was going to be asked a question like, well, what got you into horror? Having people like teachers bully me and feeling like an outsider, like I felt like the hunchback, I felt like Eric, so I've always felt like a monster and stuff, so I've never understand like the clickiness that comes with Hollywood. And so
Yeah.
I like to like just break down those kind of things because I know when I first started, when I was just learning my craft and stuff and trying to get into different shops to try to do my creative stuff. I wish I knew more people. And so it's like if we're friends, I try to connect people,
Hmm.
and I love hosting so that because my goal is all of my friends to be friends and to create together. And hopefully they
Yes.
invite me to come and create too, because like I obviously love them and I'm a fan and I just want to be in everything. And that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I am. And then Rick, he's so kind. He's like this wonderful grill master. And so he cooks for everybody. And then I'll do like a performance and stuff, like half of the time, or sometimes it's just dinners or it's work. But that's kind of also how we close deals. That's how we get to know people
Yeah.
is like literally breaking bread with them. I love inviting people over. Like we just over the weekend, I did so many interviews. I interviewed my brother-in-law Danny about his new score for Dracula, A Love Tale, and then I came back. which I don't know if you've have you heard that score? It's like mind
I haven't
blowing.
yet.
It's so
I
good.
am
It's available right now.
I'm gonna have to listen to it because I'm very like I try to stay as up to date on everything as I can with horror. As far as like Danny's work lately, I was both fortunate and also unfortunate in that I was there for the opening weekend of Epic Universe. He was there and I didn't know he was there and I missed him and
Oh
I
no.
was giddy in Dark Universe alone, but I did get the vinyl. So I'm very like up to date, but not fully up to date yet. That's just kind of the story of my life.
Yeah, those are two different projects. Yeah, his stuff for the Universal for the Dark Universe is
Yeah,
great too. I listened to that score and he's very
it's so
excited
good.
about that.
But this new
And
Dracula one sounds so cool.
yeah, it's by the director who did The Fifth Element,
Mm.
Luke, and it looks wonderful. And I totally was moved. He sent Rick and I the score, and I was just captivated by it. And so I was like, I have to go and I have to interview about you about this because it's so wonderful. Because I feel like he hasn't done anything really genre since like the Wolfman, like he hasn't been in this gothic kind of vibe in a long
Hmm.
time, and I just feel like it's so him, even though he doesn't do it that often.
Yeah.
But I was very moved by the whole score. I even told him that it kind of because he does a lot of like there's different electronic aspects, and it kind of almost felt like a Frankenstein's monster as well as like being romantic, but like totally kick ass, and it's so great. If you're a
That's
fan of
cool.
his music, I highly recommend
I feel
listening
like
to
I
it.
didn't have a choice being a kid growing up. Like when I was a kid, shoot, anything from Batman to Pee Wee Herman to I think Danny's always been there from growing up. I just didn't have a choice. And then my dad,
Yeah.
Boingo Boingo, like it was gonna happen. So yeah, definitely a fan. Always been a fan.
Oh, so great. So in Bloody Bridget, he let us use some of his Oingo Boingo tunes. And then,
Yeah.
so he has had a new album, like the first one in like 35 years, like rock album called Big Mess. And so we're the first project to use any of his singles. So we used a Cruel Compensation
Yeah.
track on in Bloody Bridget. And then, so the Bloody Bridget film is just finishing, kind of winding down its festival run, and so when film festivals can fly us out, we'll go out and I'll do my Bloody Bridget pre-show performance, and I
Mhm.
perform it to Cruel Compensation,
That's
and
cool.
then where I literally grab an audience member and drag them up on stage and rip out their beating heart and eat it in front of everybody, and then the movie starts. So
Rock
it's
and roll.
it's
That's
great. I
awesome.
love like being immersive and creating the because I feel like nobody's doing this kind of stuff. Like I have one
Yeah.
for The Howling. I've told you I have one for Return of the Living Dead 3. I have one for like Suspiria, all kinds of stuff. And
Suspiria. I love Suspiria. Sorry.
right, and Goblin's music is so iconic,
Hmm.
and I would like I love creating because okay, so this goes back to my like talent and obsession with horror films and being able to um create these costumes. Everything is as much as I can is screen accurate to the film, and it
Oh,
incorporates elements of the film including score, and so it's just very unique performances. I spend so much time choreographing and using aspects like with my Santa Sangre one, there's moments where mother is like doing different hand movements, and so I put that into the choreography. So it's like all of these little Easter eggs that like a true fan of whatever film would pick up on. And so that's what's important to me because I'm a huge horror fan. And I try to think like, what would I want to experience or see if I'm going to the movies? And
mhm.
so I come with that kind of perspective.
I love that. I love that. Any chance you can get little Easter eggs in somewhere, I love that. And I think that's cool that you're able to like you're kind of going like 3 levels deep in the world of Easter eggs to where like you really know when people know they'll see it. And I love that because it makes it kind of like a game too. And I love a good like hide and seek kind of game with Easter eggs. So with Bloody Bridget, I think that it is such a fun movie, and I think that yes, there's a sequel coming, right? Do I have to edit that
Yes.
out? I don't want to say anything that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
shouldn't.
yeah. Oh no,
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah, Rick's been talking about it. Yeah, he wrote a
Okay.
sequel. So that's exciting. But we want to release this Bloody Bridget first because she's not
Yeah.
available right now. But we've been talking to different distributors and it's just been hard because we self-finance the film. So we're looking for like an MG, which is like for people who don't know, that's like a minimum guarantee that you get up front. So you get kind of like some of your costs back
Yeah.
to for them to release it. And so we've just been looking around and just seeing what's the right fit because just the fact that I've been touring with the film, and usually I don't get this aspect with other films that I'm in because, I'm just like a hired hand or whatever. But this is like almost like our baby. And so I've
Yeah.
been involved with every single aspect, like coloring sessions, editing, sound sessions, I've been involved with everything. And to watch it with an audience and see the audience's like wonderful experience and they're laughing and they get it. I don't want to release it and just have it die on the shelf. I want to continue to tour. I want to continue to like do these crazy, wild pre-show performances
Hmm.
and kind of get like a cult thing going because nobody else is really doing this. I mean, I guess like Rocky
Yeah.
Horror has their thing, but like, like I like the roadshow aspect, like because with my husband's other films like Forbidden Zone, we've been touring with that all over the world for like
Hmm.
15 years and creating these type of not the same, different
Yeah.
like pre-show performances that are a little bit more goonier and he gets a band together and stuff. So it's like, I don't know, it's very unique and it's like going to these shows and you get to watch it with the filmmaker, but not just that, you get to see him perform his bits. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen his Forbidden Zone, but he plays a character. And so he'll get up on stage and he'll surprise people and do the singing, and then he'll do Q&A. So it's like this wonderful, like full experience, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Well,
I just love that aspect, and I don't want Bloody Bridget to just like die away and be forgotten, because
well,
like she has like all of this. I don't know. I feel like people have really connected with the character, which is weird because she's like this topless demon. But like women, like ever people love the character, and I think that's great. And also, we're in development for using my Bloody Bridget character as like a horror hostess. So,
yes.
Bloody Bridget's horror show, and this will take my love, like Anastasia, my love of horror, where I'll have like a guest on set and we'll talk about whatever movie, and then I'll probably like rip their heart out at the end.
I like
And so
that.
I kind of want it to be a mix of like Elvira, the Crypt Keeper, and
Hmm.
like a little bit of Pee Wee's Playhouse because I love puppets. I love goofy things, and I'm
For sure.
silly. So I
That
just
leads
want to
into
hit
all
that
of it.
nostalgia, like and
Oh yeah.
bring that kind of like show back because like we're missing that right now, I feel.
It's true. We only have like the last drive-in and that's it. So I think that
Yeah, which is great. I
yeah.
love that. But this is a little bit more different. It's more of a throwback to like more of a, like horror hostess like kind of show. And it's not
Yeah.
like I find that like Elvira is great, but it feels like a lot of times she hates the movies. Where on the other hand, I love the movies that I want to talk
Yeah.
about. And I want to share all this like random information like about Lon Chaney Sr. or Phantom
Yeah.
or, like Gremlin, something like that. And
That
like
is
not
awesome.
only talking to the filmmakers or the actors, but I want to talk to crew. I want to talk to the effects artists, the VFX artists. I want to talk to the people who wrote it or did lighting on it, costuming.
Yeah.
Because I'm crew, I support crew, and I
Mhm.
want to give them a chance to talk about their craft and share some insight that like maybe we don't know what like different things that they did or what they put into the
It's
film. You
true.
know what I mean? Because it's like I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of times we get the same exact interview over and over and over again.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
I want to change it up a little bit.
No, I agree and I commend you for that because as someone who has done a few interviews now in the past like year that I've been like year and some change that I've been professionally interviewing both at work and for my podcast, I will say that I get the richest answers from crew, from people who understand crew because then I feel like as someone who's always been interested in the behind the cameras just as much as in front of, but I've always loved what the mind can create and how it comes to life. I find that the crew can offer some really great insight. So that is so cool that you're doing that. And as for the shows and Bloody Bridget, I have to say, in Orlando where I live, we have a theater that plays a lot of old movies, and it's a very small theater. It's called the Enzian, and I hear it's haunted. Just I don't know if that means anything for you. I
Ooh,
love ghosts, but
I love ghosts.
there we go.
Like, tell me
So
there's a haunting. That's a fun time. I'll be on the next plane.
yeah, if you guys ever found your way on this side of the state of the country and you ever wanted to show at the Enzian Theater, it's close to where I live. It's a very small theater. They play like Criterion Collection stuff. They'll play Rocky Horror. They'll play old monster movies. They
Oh,
don't play
great.
like what's out now. It's a celebration of film in a small like theater that's kind of tucked away in like this foresty thing, and it's so cool. And I think for what you were talking about, that sounds like a type of venue that I think would be really cool for this film to kind of see the eyes. Because in the horror community, we have a pretty decent horror community. I mean, we have Spooky Empire that comes twice a year, and then not an
Wow.
hour and a half after, there's Scaradise in Tampa. And so like I know Florida's like Central Florida's horror community would definitely be like, oh, that's so cool.
So wonderful. Yeah, I would say that luckily about 95, maybe even more percent of our bookings for our screening events come from like fans who reach
Yeah.
out to theaters to tell the theaters to connect with us. So I love hearing about new theaters and if there's anything, because we're a pretty well oiled machine and we've been touring and
Yeah.
doing this. So and we produce every aspect, and it's like it's great because I know how to talk with the lighting, I know how to talk with projection. I know, a lot of times with these different performances, I'm lucky if I get to see the stage or get to see the theater before I'm performing. A lot of times I just, like, okay, where's my victim gonna sit? Okay, got it. And then, but I'm a professional, like
Yeah.
Beetlejuice says, you're working with a professional here. So, while I love rehearsal, I don't always get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love hearing about new theaters and I'll have to check that out and we'll see if they're interested because I mean, I love our home life, but we also love traveling and one of my goals is getting the word out there to Rick's fans because the thing is like with Forbidden Zone, that was not available for like 30 years. It
Yeah.
was bootlegged and because he just got the rights back. And so we're just trying to get the word out to his fans that he is actively touring. He likes to get interviewed. We like
Mhm.
to travel. We like to do screening events. And he's on social media and stuff too. So it's like connecting with all of those people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just like you said it before. I also, whenever I can, offer anyone who's doing something cool to get the word out further. I feel like it's something like I feel I should be like, hey, just so you know, in case you're interested, this, that, and the other thing. So yeah, that's pretty much where I come from with it is like you said, helping everyone within the community kind of go up wherever they can. If I like 2 years ago, I wouldn't have even thought I'd have anything to offer to anyone. And now I'm like, oh, I actually know about this and that, and the other thing. So I'm trying to help where I can and kind of give back to what I've gained as well. So yeah, I think that especially when it comes to like Rick's work, any chance to kind of get the word out there, because I know what it's like, through my love of movies and movie history, what it's like when a movie doesn't have the rights to the creator and then it just kind of gets lost in this weird vault of non-existence for some reason. And then that fight to kind of make sure that everyone knows it's there and to get it out. I totally understand that. So, I mean, I know I'll help any way I can with that for sure.
You're so kind. Yeah, thanks. And that's so wonderful to hear. I mean, I feel like it's people like us that it's like I wish that I would have met people like that, what we're doing when I came to Hollywood and stuff
Mhm.
because it's so hard and it's like I mean, for me, like just being a mom, it's like I just want to support everybody. And like I feel like once people figure out that there's no competition within, it's just you're just hurting yourself by like isolating. You know what I mean? And trying to protect whatever you have. No, it's like
Mhm.
let's just support everybody. So I love hearing that.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, because I came from the theater and it's always let's help out. The show must go on. And so that's the mentality that I come with. So, like, whenever I meet people who are just like screen actors or whatever, and they're not like wanting to rehearse or aren't into doing these like just regular things, I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be friends.
Yeah, no, I can
You know what
understand. I
I
feel like
mean?
it's one of those things where like you can just kind of pick up the vibe really quick and you're like, okay.
Oh, totally,
I get
totally.
that. Now I know we're a little bit over on time. I have only two more questions. I don't want to take up too much
Sure.
of your time. Okay, cool. Well, the first one
Everything.
is, Bloody Bridget's coming, has a sequel, and it seems like we might have a fun horror show part of that, and I love hearing that. I'm curious, what do you want from the character? Like, would you, and I mean that in the sense of like, in terms of a franchise of movies or anything like that, would you want to see her like maybe go to space or like fight some outlandish like creature or something?
That's so funny you should say. Actually, Rick's like developing other other projects for Bloody Bridget, like Bloody Bridget meets Frankenstein or Dracula or goes to Mars, like that kind of stuff. Because I like those like kind of weird 50s versions. Like even if
Yeah.
it's just a little thing, I think that would be fun. I love the character so much. I mean, luckily it was written for me in mind, so that's why like I connect with her. I mean, I don't
Absolutely.
share, I like for normal Bridget, I don't share any of the like connections to like abuse or anything like that, but I am very like maternal and I'm a big sister, and so I want to take care of everybody. And also because I'm a big sister, I don't like it when things like if you're not supposed to do something, like you better not do it because we're all gonna get in trouble kind of thing.
Yep.
So like I'm very by the book. And so with her, like, kind of being, they call her the sword of justice, I resonate with that so much because I have strong opinions about justice and right and
Hmm.
wrong just as
Hmm.
a person.
Yeah.
And so I love that. And I love protecting. That's just what I do. I've always, even when I was little, they, like my preschool teachers used to call me like Mama Anna. So I was
Oh.
always, and I have a little sister, so I was always motherly and taking care of people around me.
Hmm.
But yes, I would love to see. I mean, as long as it's along the lines of who she is, I think I would be open to anything because I just love the character. I love creating. I love Rick and his wacky sensibility and like almost like cartoon, nature. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I'm totally open to it. And I love that like audience have like really connected with her, and I've been getting like there's already fan art and people are wanting like
Nice.
little dolls and stuff, and so I'm like trying to figure out how do we do this, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, true. That's so cool. That's fantastic. I love that not only is there a bright future ahead for the character, but also fans have resonated so well with that. I think that's such an important thing. Before my last question, I have to ask, because you mentioned you're a big sister. I'm a big brother, and we're about 10 years apart. What's the gap for you and your sister by chance?
We're about like almost 6 years apart. So
Okay.
I was very 10 years that yeah, so very involved, right?
Well, yeah, I learned about how to take care of a baby before I was in middle school. I was in high school. So I was sitting there and it was like I had like a big brother and like a sort of kind of but not really dad hat. I was just like there to help in any way I can. I learned a lot, but like you said, it's don't do that or we're all gonna get in trouble and being very protective and all of that stuff. Like it was a gift and it was also a big surprise because I didn't think I would ever be taking care of my little brother like that. So it was a treat.
Yeah, yeah. Are you really close with your sibling?
We're close. I mean, it's one of those things where we don't talk often. But he's only
Mm.
like an hour and a half away from me. So like I'm gonna
Oh,
see him for
okay.
my birthday in a few weeks, so it's fine. But we
Yeah.
share so many interests and he looks up to me a lot. Like half the stuff he
Oh.
loves is like superhero related, and then he branched out and did his own thing and he's like interested in photography. He loves Godzilla. He loves film as well. Like he loves film in a way that it might be even more so than me because I found my genres I like. But he'll branch out and he'll find things. He'll be like, I heard this movie's great. I gotta watch it. And it'll be like Taxi Driver. And I'm just like, okay, okay.
The
So
classics.
yeah, so it's cool seeing like me just existing and being myself influence my brother in a way that he is finding his own path while, mirroring the things that we both love so much. And I just, it's sibling things. Few siblings will understand the sibling things, but I feel like you get it too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm super close with my little sister. She lives far away. She lives in Oregon and we're in Hollywood.
Hmm.
Which is like tough because she's been there for a few years, like with her family, because she has kids too and she's
Hmm.
married now. But yeah, growing up, it was just always her and I, and she was always with me. She would always come to anything I was doing, like ballet, or she did ballet, she did cello, like everything that I did, she did, or vice versa. I would be like the biggest kid,
Hmm.
like going and taking care of everybody. So yeah, we're super close. I call her like every single day because like our my daughter Audrey, she goes to like an arts high school downtown, so that's like I don't know. I've got like at least a half an hour commute one way. So I have a lot of time to like either listen to music and like work on my choreography,
Hmm.
like in my head,
Yeah,
or I call like my sister. And so I get to like talk to her a lot.
that's
And
awesome.
she just, it was so crazy. She just broke her wrist
Oh,
randomly, and she's never broken anything before. And so that's been a big thing. So now I'm extra checking in on her and sending her things. And she just had
yeah.
to get like a metal plate put in. It's been
Oh,
nuts.
wow.
And she has two little kids, and so I've just been checking in with her husband and just making sure everybody's okay. Because like I wish I could be out there and like help take
Yeah,
care of her, but it
yeah.
was just like so shocking randomly because she's
That
never
is,
broken anything before. But
yeah,
she was
no,
like
that, I
roller
mean,
skating and then she fell
oh,
and like snapped her wrist and it was like fragmented. Yeah,
that's brutal.
nuts,
Yeah, I
nuts.
wouldn't blame you. I mean, you're being a good big sister checking in because that sounds really painful.
Well, you sound like a good older brother too.
I do
And
my
now you've got
best.
to have your younger brother over and watch more creature features and bring
Oh,
him
yeah.
to like premieres or something like that if you're covering
Yes.
anything. That
Oh,
would be
yeah.
fun bonding.
For sure. I would love to do that. We do that sometimes. We'll watch some random movies together. We'll always catch up. The thing we do is I go to the comic shop every Wednesday, and whenever there's a new Sonic the Hedgehog, he's loved Sonic since he was a little kid. And of course, as the older brother, all I see is the little kid. So I always get him Sonic comics, and when I see him, I give them to him. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, we're at issue 80? I've been getting these since issue 1, and I'm just like, that's crazy. So,
Whoa.
but yeah, we have our things too, and but it's great. That sibling love is like something that you just can't beat. So it's great. But yeah, like I said, I know we're coming up close to the time. The last question I had was something for the audience, and it was something that can be super quick, but what are three deep cut horror movies that you feel everyone who loves horror or is looking to get into horror should check out because they won't regret it?
Oh man. Oh man. That's so tough because I love so many films. That's so tough. And I'm trying to think deep cut because it's like I find a lot of people just haven't watched any of the films that I love. Like um I love Death Becomes Her. I think that
Good
is
movie.
it's a masterpiece, perfect film, but hardly anybody's ever seen it. Like they're
Yeah.
aware of like a meme or they're aware of like a costume, like Isabella's like her, like beaded stuff, but they've
Hmm.
never watched the film. So I would say Death Becomes Her for sure.
Okay.
Another horror film. What is that? I think Sam Raimi's make remaking like Magic or something with the dummy. Is
Oh,
that the original? I really love the original
okay.
with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
great one. I mean, I'm trying to think horror.
These are two
Because a
great
lot of my stuff
choices.
is like I love thrillers too and
Hmm.
weird stuff. Like I love anything that Lon Chaney Sr. did with Todd Brown. Like I love Freaks. I love what's just all the other ones that he's done.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
I am too. You said Freaks, and I'm like, oh, I love Freaks, and now I'm just like,
But I
these
don't
are,
think, but Lon isn't in Freaks. He was supposed to be. I'm
yeah.
forgetting. He wasn't in Freaks though. But I love Todd Browning. Trying to think what else. I don't know. I love all the classics. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I always say like they literally stole his plant. He just wants to get his little potted plant back. Like that's
That's
what the
it.
whole movie is about. I feel like he just wants his little potted plant back.
I mean, I'd be the same way
Um,
if someone came into my house and took something. Like,
Right? I would go hunt them down. They would be dead. They would
yep.
wake up dead. I love like gateway horror too. Like I love Gremlins.
Hmm.
I love Joe Dante's films like Small Soldiers.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
love
love
Small Soldiers.
Beetlejuice. I mean, everybody's seen that now, kind of because of the sequel. I'm assuming people have gone back and watched Beetlejuice,
Oh
the
yeah.
original one. I don't know. I'm gonna be so angry when this episode airs, and I'm going to be like, oh, here's like 20 films that I could
That's
have
always how it
mentioned.
happens too. Always how it happens.
I always, so because I have dyslexia, sometimes when I'm nervous, my brain farts and just totally deletes everything that I know. So
Oh
sometimes
no.
I'll reach out to people and like send me the questions just so I'm aware, because then like my brain will remember. So I forgot to do that with this one.
Well, I hope I didn't make your brain fart. I hope not.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'll leave like a comment on the YouTube like video and say like actually come watch all of these ones. They're great. I mean, American Werewolf in
Hmm,
London. I mean, that's a classic, but
it's a good choice.
John Carpenter's The Thing. I love Rob Bottin. I love
Mhm.
his art. He's like, you know, like this incredible makeup artist. I love Total Recall as well. I just saw that
Yeah,
with some of the crew over at the Egyptian, which is a big like theater out here. And so I got to see it on the big screen
that's
with like
awesome.
this insane speaker system. Like literally, I felt like I was fighting for my life with all of the like I brought my daughter because she had never seen Total Recall, and I've been watching like all of these Arnold Schwarzenegger films. So like I was watching
Running Man, that's a
Kindergarten
good one.
Cop.
Yeah,
So she
Coke
had
and
just
Gun
watched
Cup.
that, and then she's never seen the original Total Recall. And so I went, and she was like very shocked. But she, because the same director, we love RoboCop, right?
Love
And so
RoboCop.
the same director, and so that's why I usually have a through line of like why I exposed her to these films and
Hmm.
like for her to get history. And so we went to go see and in theater, and she was like, I think I like Total Recall more than RoboCop. And I was like, oh, how could you? But I like them both.
Yeah.
It's hard to choose because they're so different. But we have a friend who is actually the VFX artist on Bloody Bridget, Kevin Kuchever, who did VFX on like Beetlejuice, Gremlins, he did it on
Awesome.
RoboCop too, because I like to do a lot of deep dives. So like whenever I'm deep diving a film that a friend worked on, I always bug them and I'm like, "Can you tell me something special?" And so he told me a bunch of fun stuff and like sent me these like this different like I don't know if it was rotoscope, but this really unique way because we were supposed to know more. Like we were supposed to go inside RoboCop's like car, his like police car, and
Hmm.
so Kevin Kuchever, he created this really cool like GPS system, like
Hmm.
before GPS systems were even a thing. He kind of invented it.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. But
That's
yeah,
so
so
cool.
I love learning things like that.
Yeah. No,
But
I
yeah, so
didn't
that's
know
a
that.
little bit of the movies that I like. I have like thousands
I love
of
that
like
you covered the horror genres and subgenres and sci-fi. I love that you covered all of those because all of those are great. Like I love that you even mentioned RoboCop. My dad got me into RoboCop. I'm such a big RoboCop fan, so I love
it's
that
so
you
great.
mentioned RoboCop. It's so quotable too. I love that. I love the video game, like all of it. I have a blast.
Oh, and it's killer. It's just like so heart-wrenching, you
It's a
know?
Frankenstein story.
Eh, Completely, completely. Oh, and what's his name? Peter, the lead.
He's Peter Weller, yeah.
Yeah, he totally studied to do like the pantomiming and the miming of like like that was him learning that choreography. Have you seen the RoboCop documentary?
I haven't yet, but I did hear about how like he would turn his body first and then his head to kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
to explain how he moved there too. But I haven't seen that doc yet.
Highly recommend. I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's free.
Okay.
I love that group who came up with the and did all the work to do the interviews. And our friend Kevin is actually on that. And our
Oh,
other friend
sweet.
Steve Lee was interviewed because he did the sound design on the film. But it's so in depth and it's so wonderful. And I actually wish that it was even longer because I think it's like a 4 or 6 part episodic like
Oh,
documentary. It's so great. It's so great. And I think they're doing one for another film, and I forget what is it Terminator? I forget which one.
that would be
They go
exciting.
so in depth. And I love that they include the crew, not just like the actors or the director, or the producer, writer, but I want to, that's the kind of documentaries that like I would love to be involved with
Hmm.
or, just watch, from my couch. I love a full like scope interview
Every
process.
perspective.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love it because I feel like the crew is like the heart and soul of a project, you know? Like,
Yeah.
yes, the actors are like the faces, but like I always say when I go to set, I'm not able to do my job if everybody else hasn't already done their job in supporting me,
Yeah.
because it's like they've already been on set for hours and I just come in and I've got to adjust to what they've already created, you
hmm
know?
No, I agree. I think the crew is so important. I mean, referencing my favorite, two of my top three favorite movies, Jaws and Jurassic Park, those movies are perfect examples of the crew working through problems and dealing with changes. And what we get as a result is unforgettable moments. And yes, the cast and the director and the writers, of course, they all brought that to life, but the crew made it so believable and so important. And you're right. It's so important. I think that especially when it comes like practical effects as well and just like sound and all of that makes the movie what it is, I think. So I love that you have such an appreciation for the crew of everyone too, because I completely wholeheartedly get it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're a monster kid, you get like you're doing your research, like especially like within horror, because it's like these people are like literally dedicating like months and years of their life. Like if you know your history about the thing, like Rob Bottin literally worked nonstop for a year. And like he ended up having to be hospitalized
Yeah.
afterwards because he had such like massive health issues after doing that. Which he's one of my favorite living, effects artists
He's
and
a legend.
creators. He's so talented. I'm hoping to get him on my show because I
You
know he's
have to kill him on
retired.
the show.
I would be happy to. I love him so much. He's and he actually speaking about him, he shares a birthday with me too. We're all April 1st babies. So
There
isn't
you
that
go.
funny?
You actually share a birthday with my fiance's little nephew.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That's so funny. Growing up, nobody ever believed me that April 1st, like April Fool's Day, was my birthday. And I never met anybody, one with the name Anastasia, never once met anybody. And then never met anybody with an April 1st birthday. And now I'm like, okay, so I'm not like this raging monster, like creature. You know what I mean?
That's
It's so
funny.
funny. It's validating.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can totally see that. You got some proper legends on your birthday though. That is
Right.
amazing. Like I feel like you didn't have a choice to do what you're doing now because of that. Like it was just
Yeah.
going to happen.
What I like to do, because we have a lot of wonderful cemeteries around in LA, and
Oh, okay.
so we have a place called Hollywood Forever where a lot of icons are buried, and
Mm.
I love Peter Lorre, and so I go visit him, and actually one of the times that I went to go visit him, there was like this kitten. So our cat that we've had for 2 years, I stole her from the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Cemetery
and
cat.
yeah, yeah, we named her Selena Kyle Elfman, and she's an orange cat, and we thought that she was going to be a boy, so I was going to call her like Peter Lorre Elfman or Vincent Price Elfman, and
Yeah.
then we ended up taking her to the vet, and she ended up being a little girl, which is like a 99% chance of not, that they're generally orange cats are male. So
Uh-huh.
that was kind of unique. But so I love going to the summit. It sounds morbid, but I just
No,
love it.
it's
It's so
funny that you say
fun.
that because my fiance, she loves all of that too. So it's not that weird to me.
Do you guys ever do like picnics? Like I make like we do date like me and my husband Rick, and then we'll bring our daughter too. Because like there's these wonderful like there's a ton of like family run like Mexican places, and so I like
Mhm.
to go get like some to support them and get some food, and then we'll take it to the cemetery and
Oh
we'll
yeah.
just like eat because they have like swans and all the and squirrels and stuff, and so we'll like not we won't feed them like we bring like little nuts and different like healthy stuff for them because we
hmm
have that on hand because we're feeding birds all the time anyways. But so we'll have a little picnic. So do you guys ever have picnics
We
like
haven't,
at
but
the cemetery?
it's solely because of Florida. It's just the Florida of it all.
Oh, I forgot
It's
Florida.
we
Yeah.
have cemeteries, but they're either too private and too personal, or they're they're big and you can't get into them. And so, but when she grew up in New Jersey, and so she was no stranger to like walking home from school, walking around the cemetery, loving the quiet of it all. So,
Oh, that's so
um,
wonderful.
yeah, so a lot of the stuff that she would do there, she couldn't do here. But, being born and raised in Florida and just happening to like spooky stuff, I felt very fortunate to have found her and that she likes those types of spooky things too, because now I didn't feel so weird. And so, yeah, unfortunately, we haven't been able to have a picnic, although I will say that as loud as it gets around here, I would love some peace and quiet. So I might have to just like take a gander and see what Florida, like what Orlando specifically maybe has. That
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
we do have spooky stuff, but unfortunately, when it comes to cemeteries, they're just so like random. Like we're talking 20, 30 minute drives between them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny. The cemeteries are pretty close to us, but with traffic, I mean, not the cemeteries, but just driving across town is like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter if it's like 2 miles away. You're probably going to be a half an hour to get, just because of LA
Yeah,
traffic.
for
But
sure.
also, there's a cemetery in, that's a little bit further, but that's where Lon Chaney Sr. is buried. But he's
Ooh.
secret. And so I respect the Chaney family completely. And so I never cross any boundaries. But on
Mhm.
our birthday, I like to go to his mausoleum. And I like to, from afar, I like to kind of like, just respectfully pay my respects and thank
Yeah.
him for everything. And so,
Wow.
like, I'll bring my husband and my daughter and like we'll go do that and I'll get a couple minutes. I usually like shed a little tear because I love him so much. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was so supportive of the creators and took care of his people around him and rooted for the underdog. He was always supporting people. And I feel like my motto is kind of like, how people say like what would Jesus do? I
Hmm.
always ask myself like what would Lon Chaney Sr. do?
There
And
you
so
go.
that's how I've approached both my private life and my public persona and also like my career. And
Yeah.
so I have such gratitude for him and the legacy that he's left and that his family has continued to support. So that's so amazing to me.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And I didn't realize that like how secretive it was, but I love that you do that for you guys' birthday. I think that's special. I think it's testament to how hard you work with what you do now as well. And then, respecting what came before on top of that. That's
Oh, completely.
that's
Yeah, I mean, I
fantastic.
was raised with like a lot of like have respect kind of, obviously like with
Yeah.
being my parents being veterans and then my like grandparents being veterans and things like that. So it's
Hmm.
like, yes, I mean, respect is like top tier
Absolutely.
with me and hard work and having good ethics. Like that's just how I was raised and how I chose to be. So
That's
yeah.
cool. No, that's important. My dad was a paramedic for almost 20 years, and I was raised on like, respect and discipline and all of that as well. Nowhere near as much as you, of course, because having like double like generations of veterans, that's unbeatable, I think. So, but that is good. That discipline in that respect is so important, and it's what gets you far in terms of work ethic as well. So
Well,
that's fun.
amazing that your father was like literally saving lives. I
Oh
can't even
yeah,
like, how do
I
you compete with
he could
that?
tell you he could tell you some wild stories, creepy stories too, I might add. He's got a couple ghost stories in there.
See, you've got to interview your dad and get him on the show and share
Right?
all of this so that we can watch.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure that there are some scary stories because he grew up in Brooklyn, so I know he has scary stories from
Ooh,
there too.
yeah.
If I could get on video all of his spooky ghost stories, that would be awesome. Because they are really good stuff. We actually told it on a ghost tour in Tampa that we went to for my fiance's birthday, and
Oh,
everyone was just
wow.
like, "What the heck?" So it's cool stuff. But yeah, that's a good idea though. I have to see how my dad feels about that.
Just force him into it.
Yeah,
Get
just
him
be
like a
like,
beer or something and say,
yeah,
"Hey, Dad, we're
he's
gonna
probably
listen to
wondering why
Oingo
I called
Boingo.
you.
Tell me about the old days."
Anastasia, this has been like such a fun treat of a conversation to have. And again, thank you so much, Melissa, when you do listen to this, because I haven't had this much fun of a conversation in a very, very long time. So, thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Anastasia, for coming on and chatting. And is there anything that you are working on or you want the people to know about before we sign off, or like maybe a way to keep in touch with like following you on socials or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me. What we have going on next, we're gearing up for a film festival called Happy Fright Film Fest, and that's out here kind of around LA. It's in Fillmore. That's Saturday, October 18th. So we're going to be screening Bloody Bridget. I'll be doing my wild, bloody burlesque number and then showing the film. And then we're going to be doing screening my husband Richard's Forbidden Zone. And so he's going to get a band together and we're going to do a pre-show for that as well. So that's Saturday, October 18th, Happy Fright Film Festival. Excited about that. What else? I mean, I'm always up to goofy things. I'm on social media, Instagram, Anastasia Elfman. I have a website, anastasiaelfman.com, YouTube, Anastasia Elfman, Facebook, Anastasia Elfman, and then our films, so Forbidden Zone, Aliens, Clowns, and Geeks, and Bloody Bridget, they all have their own like film pages on Instagram and on Facebook. And so we try to post our events, our meet and greets, those kind of things, or like fan art. I'm trying to help create like a Forbidden Zone 6 dimension community that like
Cool.
shares like the fans fan art and costumes, like cosplay, just different things, and just like creating a fun safe space for people to share their art, or like if they're inspired by the Elfmans or Danny or Oingo Boingo, or Rick's Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo. That was like a theater troupe that
Mhm.
turned into Oingo Boingo, if you know that history.
Mhm.
But so that's kind of a fun place. Other than that, I'm on different horror like podcasts because I love talking horror films. I love talking horror projects. I love deep diving. I love talking about classic films, and especially Lon Chaney Sr. So I'm always around. And thank
Awesome.
you so much for having me. And thank you to Melissa at Horror Geek Life for connecting us. And now I
Mhm.
feel like I have a new best friend.
I know, right? This is the best. I never would have guessed in my wildest dreams that I would be best friends with someone who is not only an elfman, but also just like a really cool person who loves horror in the same way that I do, and also is just like really cool at being like your own monster in your own movie. Like I feel like super stoked that now I know you. So, but yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for everything that you've done with Bloody Bridget. I think that this character, whether it is a full-blown classic, cult classic, any type of classic, I think that it will stand the test of time. And I think you've inspired a lot of people. My fiance loves any time that a female character gets to just go full monster and rip a terrible person's heart out. So thank you for giving her that outlet.
That's right. Thank you so much. It's so kind. That just warms my heart so much.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear it. Well, everyone, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or evening or morning or whenever you're listening to this. If it's too late, go to bed. But yeah, everyone, take care.